preparing to live stream a meeting. We are
Preparing to
setting
live.
up meeting for YouTube Live.
Very cool.
Wow. And we're streaming on YouTube, I guess. It says we are. I'll go with that.
I'm gonna go with
All
that.
right.
All right.
If you're watching us on YouTube right now, welcome. This is our second one that we've done. Greg's here. I'm gonna hit the record button in a minute, and you guys get to watch the State of the Union live tonight.
If you so choose to, and if you don't, you will at one point. We'll get you in. Going on here. Oh, look, we're live on Zoom right now. I see an advertisement for it.
Right. Look at that.
And that's fucking cool, Mike.
Right.
I'm
funny,
watching right
funny.
now.
I like to play with buttons. That's how that one happened.
This is literally happening.
It's happening after all the months of OBS.
I know. You just had to press a button finally.
No, I had to turn it on in Zoom. And then you do the thing. If you guys are looking to do this like we are, the easiest way is through Zoom, and then turn it on in your preferences. Don't ask me how. I just found it. So anyway, let's do it.
There's a little nugget of information that might streamline you hours of time of fucking figuring out all these platforms.
Let us help you.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the Music Combine, and welcome to the State of the Union for 10/25/2020. Our weekly segment that we do at the beginning of the week to give you guys some insight on the business of music and the news of music. Mr. Telfayan,
how we doing?
How was it in Staten Island? Did you get cancer?
Whoever knows that until it happens, but
yeah. I feel like that's the cancer capital of the world. It was for a long time.
It has actually, it's like the biggest landfill. You could see it from
Arthur Kill. You can see it from the space shuttle. Right. I remember. Oh well, I remember when I used to do live sound. I used to do a lot of it in Staten Island.
Oh yeah, why?
Because the guy I worked for, he was from there for one, but he had his shop in like Bridgewater, New Jersey. He was down there by Edison,
right?
Gary V territory.
Okay, gotcha.
And we did a lot of gigs for the Parks Department in New York City, and they released summer concert series that they did in the parks,
right,
of Staten Island, and we would just do these like cover bands or whatever. I think they were always on like a Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
So on Monday nights, I was always in Staten Island with a truck full of PA.
That's that. I learn about you every time we talk about.
Dude, I've had so many mixing gigs. It's not even funny.
Hey man, that's why we're buddies. Kind of. You're a mentor.
Well, my mentors, it's not my thing to talk about, but dude, the crap I get from people is just hilarious. You really should join my deal.
So Mike's and I, like we both in marketing in some sort, but like we're part of Mike does finance, and that's like kind of like financial management and like investments and such. And he works for a good company, WFG. And a lot of times with these companies comes this back end of like, you need to be plugged into the system to be able to be doing what you're doing. And it's like, to an extent of like knowing that
you got to understand something. I get a lot in LA, especially, people think the streets are paved with gold until they realize that not everyone's an agent that wants to talk to them.
Right. Exactly.
And they end up going, well, I can make my dreams happen and act at the same time, like my financial dreams and act at the same time. And it's like, or do my other thing at the same time. I think that's great.
Right.
If you're organized enough to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for everybody.
Definitely.
And they all have the same pitch,
right,
that I've seen. And it's usually a lot of multi-level marketing type people of Amway or
Melaleuca.
Yeah, but I don't want to bash Melaleuca because I actually use their products. Their products are really good.
All those products are great. I mean, these. That's the thing. The product,
just the way they approach Bill Kangen Water is another one. Even though I own a Kangen water machine.
But again, there it is. It's great products, guys. It's just the back end of it is like the brainwashing and like you have to do this. Like, how about this? How about I just sell your products,
Yeah.
and we skip over the bullshit. And I don't need you to fucking like, you know, grease me off and make me feel good about like being in the positive mindset.
I was self-confident before I got here.
Yeah, like I could just go like I'm just gonna do this and like advertise it and then just drive dollars to that. Like this,
Yeah.
so leave me alone.
So enough of the inner workings of marketing in that bullshit realm. But we're going to talk about marketing today in this episode. And Greg's got some great pieces on it. I don't know what it is, but I know it's always good because that's Greg's absolute amazing wheelhouse. If you haven't followed G-Tel Fayan over here on Instagram, I highly suggest doing it because he is pretty awesome at what he does. And also following us at the Music Combine now at Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Go follow us. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
We're lonely. We just need to hear from you.
Yeah.
So all kidding aside,
But like it's true in the fact of like don't feel lonely out there, like you guys have nowhere to turn, like to talk about any subject of music like that you're doing yourself, that you know your fears of what you're going through and what you're facing, and we can actually talk about it. Because you know what, it is about a camaraderie, and it is about kind of like
it always goes back to this, man. It's like, you know, we're stronger together as a group than we are standing alone.
Yeah,
it is.
Meet so many awesome musicians, and like we have such great conversations, and we come back to the same type of like topic, especially the like-minded ones that are really like doing something and like putting something together to get their stuff heard in the right way, and like and that all has to do with like this is it. I was today I was listening to, or in this past week, this guy, his name's Russ, they call him Russ the rapper.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the story you're kind of bringing to the table. This is pretty awesome, actually. You said a little bit in the pre-show about this.
Yeah. So this guy is like an amazing, entrepreneur. And he had started from ground zero, and his thing was like, okay, he learned how to mix. He learned how to do it well enough where he got it good to where he can just do it all the time and doesn't have to depend on anybody else but himself. Kind of like what you do, Mike. Actually, exactly what you do. But
pretty much.
Essentially, that's what I need to do better, and it's what a lot of other musicians need to do to be able to really start gaining control of like building some amazing content. So this guy does this. He puts out a song, like he had 11 songs, I think, at first that he put out, and they just didn't do anything. He put it out every week, but he was putting out content behind it. And he's really smart in the fact that he was just documenting the process of him recording and doing everything that had something to do with anticipation. Like he said, like before he go to practice, he would like take a shot, like just a photo of like the practice studio and him like in front of his car or whatever.
That's
like
awesome.
About to go in, I'm just about to go in. Like, yeah. Most people say, and a lot of bands say this is something I hear all the time. And I'm going to say this because this is important to understand. You think that you got to hold your material back and you can't release the whole thing. You show too much of this.
Yeah. So to that point, if anyone's seen the interviews with Matthew McConaughey on Rogan or Gary Vaynerchuk's show, because he's promoting his book, which I really want to get. It's called Hitting All Green Lights, I think is the name of it. Anyway, to your point, and I'll let you continue on. But he said this exact thing. He goes, there were times in my life, and this is shirtless rom-com guy who makes millions of dollars. He said, who am I when I went through my journals to limit my roof over my head of what I can succeed at?
Right.
How selfish am I fucking being at that point? It was his comment. And it's your point,
Yeah. What you're doing is self-sabotaging yourself. So the thing is, there is a place for certain kind of content and like, more produced content, but then you have the raw content, and then you have like something that's like in the middle, but you make it each sound good for each thing it is. If it's your phone, make it sound as good as you can for the phone, but that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a lavish produced video, but people need to see, and you need to brand yourself. And how can you do that without spreading yourself too thin and getting overwhelmed? It's really just taking the phone. We talk about this a lot, and we're going to keep talking about it because it needs to be said every time.
Josh Monroy Igloo is
right.
Really covered this, but anyway, continue.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I was saying in our episode with Josh.
He was like, why do you need a $5,000 fucking video?
Right. You don't, but you
don't.
There's a place for it. But there's, you don't have to start with that. So what do you have around you that you can use? And a guy named Adam Ivy, I'm going to give him a shout out too. Damian Keys is really awesome. And then Adam Ivy really gets granular about how to take pictures with your phone, right, and make them look good, and then use something called like Snapseed, right? Just something
Sure.
app that you could put through your phone, and we're always on our phone. So if you have your phone, a lot of the shit I do really comes through the phone for like all the way until like the last day before I start optimizing something. I go through programs and email campaigns through the computer. But when it comes to the phone, you have the phone at you're always on it. So just capture a couple shots of you before practice and you go in. That's one shot. Then you practice a piece of the song that you're creating in that practice. The objective of the practice today is we're going to work on this song, play the set, and whatever. Show a couple clips of each song or one song of the set, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Take it and then post it in real time. Then you're good. But then you could take some more clips from some other songs on that one practice, and then you can use it and batch it out like we do with the podcast, except for this is live right now.
Yeah.
So we batch out our episodes. So we just keep interviewing new people, and we line it up, and we have a pipeline, and we just put it out there every week. But we're doing it. We're batching it, so it gives us more time now to work.
Here's the other thing to that.
Yeah,
pipeline's super important. I don't care what you do. I think you're always selling yourself, and that's just the way this world goes.
Yeah.
People will say they hate sales, but at the same time, if you're in a band, you're an artist, you're a songwriter, anything about that, you are selling yourself to get to the next thing to monetize what you're doing. And the point to that is that you're in sales, no matter whether you like it or not.
Yep. You don't want it to be a business, but
then don't go be a
Don't do anything with it. That's it. You're gonna just
go be a sweetheart at the rodeo or something, or go be a sweetheart, at your local karaoke bar.
Yeah.
And I'm not discouraging anybody, and I'm not trying to be critical of people who do like covers and stuff. That's great and fine.
That's an individual stream of income. That's great.
Yeah.
But
the thing is that at some point you're gonna have to pay the publishing to the person who wrote the song.
Well, I mean, I don't know how that.
But yeah, it's a thing I was talking to a friend about this week. And that person didn't realize that the whole Facebook streaming policy had changed. And thank God.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, Facebook now, and this is another thing, but I'm going to bounce back to Russ really quick for that. So Facebook, if you play covers and you're doing covers on Facebook, apparently they take it down and you're not allowed. You'll get like fined. They'll shut down your page. So just a little note to self. We covered this in the State of the Union a couple of weeks ago. So just be mindful of that. I'm going to go back to Russ the rapper, Russ is Russ, simply Russ, I think. So this guy puts out fucking songs every week for a year and just starts blowing up. Like
that's pretty stupendous, man.
I mean, I have a friend that did this.
You think about like, I mean, I know like really good songwriters, they could do a song in a day and maybe do 3 or 4 of them.
Sure. You can
because you're exercising that muscle, but like to consistently put a new piece of artwork out, done, finished, produced in that week.
Yeah. So that's just one thing. So let me get past that. So basically what he's done is he's now doing a song a day. That's what he's gotten.
So he's doing like the songwriter session where he does a song. That's amazing.
Yeah. And like, dude, like if I had the ability to, when I have the ability to record myself the way I know I need to be, I would be able to do something just like that. But right now I'm struggling, and I'm going to be honest with you out there too, is doing everything myself. And there's certain strengths and things that you're not good at. Like Mike's good at really editing the podcast. He has the engineering background. So he focuses more on the production and when post this podcast, and I use it as an example.
And talent acquisition.
Yeah. So he does the back end shit. Like that needs to get done. And that's not what I'm great at, but I also help him with that as well. And I'm learning, but now I need to dive a little bit more in that incrementally. But what am I good at? You know, there's certain things that I'm better at.
I think that play to your strengths, you know?
Right. And so you have a partnership and alliances with people that help you. But when it comes to art, like especially writing music or painting or anything that you're going to create, you know, like you need to do it yourself at some point. And when you actually do it, you'll end up being in control, and there's no excuse anymore. There's no excuse anyway to not be doing that in the first place and trying to learn how to do that. Like my singer for Red Hymns, he's doing it. He's working his ass off, learning how to do this. And he's like, we're going to record with him and keep getting him better because it's going to pay a dividend to us where he's going to just be able to do pre-production, which he's already starting to do. And he's just going to keep getting better at it. And there's going to be frustrations there with like the process of that and how it's easier with a guy that has been doing this for 10,000 hours versus the guy that's, you know, starting, but the guy has a great head for it. He's really getting better and better and better. and there's only so much you need to do, as long as you're capturing that, and you can work with somebody who does like the mastering, or mixing, and send that out. And if you want to mix it, that's fine as well. But I'd rather just create it and keep recording and recording and recording. So when I work with people, I actually, the thing you want to do is ask them for some type of deal where you can actually record as many things. So if I'm a drummer, multi instrumentalist, I want to record the drum tracks first because drums go first, but I have to record scratch tracks. So what do? You use your voice memo and you just start, doing the song on an acoustic guitar, whatever your process you do it to get the scratch track down. Then I upload it in Pro Tools and I start playing to that scratch track on the drums. And now I already just got the drum part done completely. And that makes it easier. Now I go back and I start recording a first guitar full take, and I start doing as many, a couple punch-ins, but I do a couple takes and take the best one. And now I have the guitar part, and then I go and do the bass, and then but once you keep doing that, you're just
it's exercising a muscle.
Yeah, it's like
so
building.
Like when I worked with Jewel, there was this. I don't know why did not forget this conversation, but it was between her and John Andrasic.
Who's John Andrasic?
He's the lead singer of Fight for Fighting.
Nice.
Another great songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
And John had just asked her a random question during the conversation. He's like, "Hey, have you?" Because I guess she was on like an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah.
As a lawyer or something like that, which you could see her doing that. And he goes, "Have you been acting again?" And blah, blah, blah. She's like, "You know what? It's like songwriting." She goes, "Unless you're exercising that muscle all the time, it's kind of hard to get back into it." She goes, "But if I write songs every day, I can do that all the time." And we were working on like demos for like, they had put out on the song list at the time. This has to be 2005 or 6, 7 maybe. Right. But it was for a ballad duo record for like Tim McGraw and Faith Hill.
Okay.
The song being kind of good. Her studio was sick. It was awesome.
Sure it is.
I don't think she lives in LA anymore, but the house that it was in.
You're talking about Jewel?
Yeah, Jewel. Her studio, the window looked over the whole entire valley.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to bounce back to finish kind of no, it's fine. You have to chime in. It's good. That's why we're talking. So essentially this guy just keeps doing that, and he ends up owning everything he does, right? So he gets label interest that way.
Point of control.
Talking about like he didn't even play. This is the amazing story. So here it goes. Using the internet to leverage your credibility. So when you do play live, it is that much better. So this guy blows up like all over, right? And just started taking putting advertising behind his distribution. So he goes and uses TuneCore, right? Anybody could sign up with TuneCore out there. Just so you know, you have TuneCore, you have DistroKid, and there's CD Baby. But the best ones that I find for my research is TuneCore, TuneCore, and DistroKid. DistroKid is $20 for the year, and you can distribute as much music as you want, and they put it on every single platform. Now it's up to you to take what's on that platform and get people listening to it. How do you do that? Okay, this is how you start doing that. You automatically are branding yourself and putting out more content that you're usually used to doing. You're following some kind of schedule, and you're not just half-fasting it. And that's the thing. You want to make your content relatable and engaging, and I'm still working on it. Mine can always be better, but I'm at least paying mind to it now, more mind to it, not just going through the motions and putting something out that was from 3 years ago and keep putting out old stuff. But you can repurpose your stuff like 3 to 6 months after. If you have 200 posts, you can go back and post another one and just re-optimize it with another hashtag. But the thing about this, and it's kind of going into deep, like I'm going into branching off into areas that this guy is talking about that he did. So what he did is he ran ads. He put content out every day. So together with that, he, over a year of 52 weeks, he said, he got big in Washington, somewhere in Washington, some boot town in Washington that I don't even remember the name of, but they wanted him to play out there. So he had no money at the time, because he was just basically starting to get big. And what he did is he had them pay for the plane ticket. He stayed at the guy's house, and then they had a show, and it was like a 50 people, like that's it, capacity. And it was one of the best shows he ever did. And after that, he started blowing up everywhere. And that's how he basically was very resourceful and not going out of his comfort zone financially, but like out of his comfort zone of his normal routine, and like leveraging other people that he's in demand for, that he created that demand for. So you want to engage people with your content. You want to put stuff out that's like relatable, and you want to do as much as you can with what you got. And if you have everything, what you have is right in front of you, that's all you need. So you have a phone, take some fucking videos, takes do a playthrough video of a song that you have. Do a video about your equipment that you're using. Like we talk about Eddie Van Halen. I'm going to reference this again over and over again. The guy was a master practitioner of his craft. Like he was all about that. Be all about what you do. Like use it. Talk about the pedals that you're using. If you're a guitar player, the guitar. And that's just a really awesome thing. And then what happens one day? You get a like you get an affiliate link, which means you become a reseller of that product that you play. That's the first thing. And then every sale that happens, not saying that many would right away, but once you start getting going, it will. And if you learn how to market right, you can run ads to that link that Dean Guitars gives you, and then you can actually make money off of that now. But you can run ads to it and get traffic to that. Then Dean is an endorser. Then you become endorsed. Then you get free fucking equipment from all these companies that you use already. Like I'm a drummer. I always like put hashtag my drum. It's everybody should be doing this anyway, but like hashtagging the companies that you're using, and just like that's content there. And that's like a couple times a month you could put that out, that same post. And then you could just manipulate it with a different song. This is me playing with these pedals and whatever, with a different song. There's just so many different combinations you could do. And then with you putting your stuff as your family, like a picture of your dog or something, that's awesome too. People want to see that. People want to see who you are. If you don't want to do that, that's one thing, but don't complain and say that there's nothing you could do to make money and like actually make this into a career. So this guy Russ, back to him, is at the level right now where he makes 6 figures a month, and it's based off of him starting with TuneCore, and then putting out songs and like putting out content, and like people actually starting to like them. Him doing like learning about advertising, and that's something you guys can always hit us up about, because we're gonna have educational modules that are being developed right now that will be available in the coming months, that are going to be able to help you actually start getting your shit done, like in more methodically, not knowing where you're not knowing where you're going to start. If you don't know where you're to start, you just got to, I'm helping you right now. Just understand that you could start right now with just your phone, and just what you're already going to practice. These are for the bands that are actually putting the work.
Here's the thing though. The one thing,
capture it.
All your points are amazingly superlatively amazing.
That's a word.
Superlative.
Every time I talk to you, there's a fucking new word.
Go ahead. Picking up a fucking book. So I'm kidding.
Listen to audio.
I'm kidding. Doesn't do the same thing. But
better for me, that's for sure.
There you go. But the thing is that what Greg is talking about, it's almost like getting it from a water hose, which is perfect. It's a lot of information at once.
Yeah.
Start with a small step.
Yeah.
Do one thing for 1 week.
Yep.
And I'm going to challenge everybody who listens to this. Do one thing for 1 week and really focus in on that. And after the 7 days, track your progress. Like, you don't have to write it down or anything, but be like, oh, I did a video today, did a video yesterday. What did I do to make it better each day?
That's right.
And build off of that. Consistency is the key to all practice. And you're constantly practicing your career, whether it's your instrument, whether it's selling your stuff, whether it's any of that stuff, it's you're selling to people.
And this, the point of this too, is to kind of really just kind of squash the theory that there's nothing you can do. There's no other means to make a living. This guy is fucking started in his mom's basement, just like all of us, right?
Yeah.
And he fucking stuck it. He took and I always said this too, because like I learned, because I've been on my own since I was 18. I'm 37 now. And if I had the chance to live with my parents, right, like I would have fucking saved a lot of money, but I would have been doing and had the time to do more of what I wanted to do, and just suck it up and live with my parents, but save that money and then be able to reinvest it back into what I love to do. And that's a lot of people out there right now are probably getting that opportunity.
Well, I mean, you hear it from so many like life coach dudes.
Yeah.
But like go live with your parents for 10 years, go work on your shit, and then you're a success.
Yeah. And you know, that's the thing for me. My parents, I wasn't really. Every time I'd play, it like kind of, they, I was too loud. Like they couldn't take me drumming. So, you know, when I met you when I had the studio,
Yeah.
I took everything that I couldn't do and I crammed it into a very short amount of time. But it was because I was drumming on a pillow with marching band sticks. By the
Yeah.
time I got like ready to fucking go on a drum set,
He had arms like tree trunks, folks. Arms like tree trunks.
he had arms.
Had arms like tree trunks back then.
But no, the thing is, like, you
Just
take
seen it. It was like Popeye.
right.
Sorry.
Hey,
Hey,
no, that's a pirate. Hey, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo. So no, seriously, this is like the core of everything that I don't see. And I go out and I talk to people that are musicians are that doing the band, whether it's a cover band, whether it's their band, whether they're an artist, and like there's a lot of complaining going on,
a lot of limiting belief.
a lot of limiting beliefs, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that way. And who am I to tell you what to do? Right. But I'm the guy that's looking into it for you so you don't have to just feel left out, like you don't know where to go. Because
Well, I don't think you're only looking into it. You know, you walk the walk and talk the talk. I mean, the thing is that, and so do I.
Yeah.
And
I'm doing it. Yeah, we're doing it.
you're doing it, dude. Like, so take that off the table of like, oh, my stuff's not good. It's not perfect. No one's shit is perfect. I'm sorry.
And that's
Never is.
gonna be perfect.
I'm
So
always chasing the dragon production wise. You're always chasing the dragon for whatever reason. And it's just the way it goes.
at least it's not a heroin addiction, so that's good. So
It's metaphorically speaking. Don't do heroin to go chase the dragon.
that, yeah, literally don't do that. So
Literally don't do heroin to go chase the dragon. But
the
but
fact
but the fact is that it starts with one step.
Yeah.
When you were a baby, you couldn't walk when you were born.
Yeah,
You started with one step.
you started crawling before you walked, and then you
Yeah.
walked before you ran, and now you're sprinting.
You know, today I was giving a friend a surfing lesson.
Who?
She probably doesn't want to be mentioned.
Okay.
But or her and her boyfriend. But you know, she was like, "Oh, I'm so tired after the first hour." It's like, yeah, this is a workout that you've never done before. And it's one of the toughest ones in the world. And they were both like, we went to lunch afterwards.
Nice.
And we were sitting by the pier in Manhattan Beach, and like, I've never seen two more tired human beings. I'm like, let's go for another round. Like, it's what I do all the time. Like,
the best thing you've ever done. So, but the point he's saying is that, like, yeah, you're gonna be tired at first. Like, you're gonna be
it's gonna suck in a lot of ways.
Well, it's not gonna. It may suck in a lot of ways, but you don't look at it that way.
Yeah, no, that's my point. It's like, don't.
You're doing it anyway. But these are the people that are actually doing it. If you're
let me just give you a little antidote to this. So me, you know me.
Analogy of lamb and tuna fish is this better analogy?
But you know, the thing about me is that I had a lot of limiting belief, even though I had a platinum record under my belt.
Yes.
And even when I moved to LA, there was a lot of bad habits in that situation that I had to fix. And it took time.
Mm-hmm.
It took time. It's always a journey. Excuse me. So what I'm saying to you guys is this. You can sit there and say no to yourself as you listen to this and go, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Right.
You know, but the thing is that if you don't, someone else is.
And yeah, they're doing it right now.
And the thing is that there is nothing worse. Guilt will go away. Resentment never will.
Yep. And listen, it's a battle for me, for you, for anybody to your mind isn't going to let you know that, hey, doing this instead of that, which here's an example, going and just watching TV all night is probably not the best thing for you, but your mind's saying, oh, go do it. And you could go do it and nobody's going to stop you except for you. So if you're not conscious of knowing that you could be doing something else, or make an effort to be like, okay, I'm going to go work on a song for a little while. And this is the habitual thing. I read this book of like, it's like habits to how to trick yourself into doing better habits.
Yeah.
This is one thing to do. You reward yourself. So it's like, okay, before I watch Netflix, or if I do, I'm going to go work on this and get this done. And let me do something.
This is very Pavlovian.
Pavlovian.
Is that
a Mediterranean term? I don't know.
I don't know. You know, Pavlov's dogs. You know,
Oh,
dog.
right, right,
Yeah,
right, right,
it's
right.
Pavlovian. It's very
Yeah.
Pavlovian.
Okay. So that's the consciousness of you just being outside of your thought and knowing, okay, I'm gonna go do something productive and then I'll reward myself. And then I'll eat dinner and then I'm not gonna eat, like, this is my problem, Oreo cookies. Like I can eat the whole fucking box, but like I'll have just a couple cookies now. Or
Right.
like you just kind of do that and then not any more than that. Like just like kind of make it like deal with yourself. It's like, okay, let me just go do this one more thing before I stop. But it ends up being like, um, let me go do a post. Let me go make sure that for Monday I have a post that what should I talk about
To
and
me,
write.
I've turned that around. So over the past 6 years, it's gotten to the point where I've literally, if I am got my ass on the couch looking at my phone at emails,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, what do we have? The question is, I always start with, what do we have to do now?
Yep.
There's got to be something.
Yep. And that's the thing, like you have your phone, right? So like it's so cool. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit on the couch and be comfortable and do this, and it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna be and I'll
Oh,
I'll sit there and get it done. And then I'll
no,
go to
you
my
won't.
I need to. Mm.
Well, I mean, like some people just won't. I mean, like
Oh,
I'm not saying you. You know, you're ultra focused, but like a lot of people will go, "Oh my god, I didn't know there were 1 through 3 seasons of Ozarks. I need to watch them right now."
I gotta watch them all.
Oh,
We all binge watch fucking shit, but like I'm
no,
just
we all
saying,
do. But the
there's
thing
a way to
is,
do it.
yeah,
There's a way to do it in a way that's gonna benefit you better than the way of like just being just consumed by everything else. Like that thing about cable, when I got rid of cable, first off, I saved a shit ton of money. It was
oh
like
yeah, invest
ridiculous.
that into something else.
Right. And then exactly. And then what I thought was like, okay, now it's allowing me to be more productive. So I am in control of what I watch
Yeah,
as opposed to just turning on the TV and just sitting there and getting sucked into whatever you're watching because everybody's gone through this and there's a lot of people that are still going through this because it's really hard to just do something different that you're used to doing. But once you start taking little initiatives like that and changing one thing and like a habit incrementally, see, most people would tell you like, yo, you got to do this now. And you need to do it at this extent. Like most people won't do that to that extent. But if you start building that one by one, it's not going to be over time. It will add up. It will be what do they call it? Compound. It will be,
compounding. Yeah,
and that's huge. Like, you take something. So most people aren't ready to do that type of commitment right away. But if you start with one little thing and start
right.
adding others on the same, on top of that, that's going to work out. It's going to start working out better for you. If you want to get all in, great, do it. There's no time better than now to make the best of what's in front of you or what you want to do. Write it down, because then it becomes real. You know what I'm saying? You write those things down, things
Anyway,
start becoming,
yeah.
they become reality. So you
Oh,
take initiative. So the big thing too is mindset. The mindset behind what you're doing is everything because if you really think you're good at something and it's music, because this is the music combine, so we're talking about you musicians out there's so many amazing artists. Just start capturing a little bit of what you're doing and start putting it out there and sharing it. And guess what? Here's the big thing about Russ that I wanted to say. Nobody gives a shit. So if you're one of those people that hoards your music and just doesn't release it and think, there's a way to release, of course there's a right way to
there's so many guests we've had on the show. I could think of Joel Dweck. I could think of Igloo. I could think of Eric Destin even. Like
yeah,
literally, Joel had the greatest line I can think of, which is this. He was like, "If you
yeah,
are
that was
so
right.
precious about your music,
Yeah.
don't do this."
Yeah, right. That was a
That's
great
what he
one.
said. He like, if you're so precious about your music, don't do this.
You guys should
Because
go.
the thing is that if you think that that's the best you're gonna write, or someone's gonna steal it, like I could think back in the day when millions of albums were sold, that might have been a concern. Nowadays,
Yeah.
like you said, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, guys. The hoarders. Oh, I got my music. I can't really. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about you.
Let's look at it this way: time
But
goes on, sands in the hourglass run out, and the thing is, it's no different for you than anyone else.
right. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. You
Truth.
I just said something and like built this up to be something you guys could be doing, and that alone may cripple you. But that's the true reality. Nobody gives a fuck until you start giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody's going to give a fuck right away. And you can't ask for things and demand people go listen to this. Nobody really wants to listen to that. That's not the way you're going to talk to somebody. Think about that. If you're on the other end listening to that, what I'm saying right now, if I put go listen to this, don't tell me what to fucking do. I'll fucking listen to it on my own time. Fuck that guy. Next. But you know what? There's a way to
also don't heckle your audience when you play live.
Well, when you who had Dave
I just think of like when you say stuff like that, I think of like bands I've worked with where they would go heckle the fucking audience.
How do you mean though? Like, what would they say?
They'd be like, "Come on, man, well, you guys not into this?"
Oh, right. It's like, oh no, this one's good. I have a really good friend, and I'll call Alfonso. He's one of Alfonso. Why can't I remember his fucking last? Seville. He's in a band called Heart Sick. They're up in Michigan. They're fucking nasty. Grand Rapids. Guy's an educated,
G-Rap,
awesome fucking musician, and just
a cool little town.
Yeah, and we've played up there with them and went on little runs with them.
Where'd you play in G-Rap?
We played the
place that Nirvana played when they first came around. That
we played the Machine Shop.
That's in Flint.
And then we played a place called, I think it was the Loft or something. That was what it was called.
Okay, yeah, I know that place.
Like the main in Grand Rapids. But the point of this kid is one of the hardest working musicians I've ever seen. He literally packs his van himself while his band watches and doesn't care and does it himself. And I always help him, and I always make his band help when I'm there. I'm like, yo, guys, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not doing this by myself. I'm like, maybe he's okay with that, but no, you're helping.
I'm not. That's
I get pissed every time they don't do something and I'm around. So it's like a going thing. It's like, yo, Greg's here. We got to help because he's going to get pissed off. Because I'm going to be like, yo, fucking get over here. I'm not doing this. This is your amp. Like, you know what I mean?
You sound like me at 26.
Regardless, this kid is one of the hardest working musicians I've ever seen. However, he does this when he's at the show, and I would say it to his face, and he would know it. He'd be like, yo, go buy something because we need money. And I never had this conversation.
But that's almost like the new.
Nobody's gonna give you anything.
But that's almost like the new trend in like Patreon accounts with their sizzle reels where they're like, we didn't go to work today, so you need to give us your money.
That's fucking fucked. Or like so here's this everything ties in together, guys. And we're not jumping around. This is all like. We got
a pretty big story we're going to tie into this, and we got some big stuff to tell you about at the end of the show too. So stick around. Anyway, go on, Greg.
Yo, so like there's a way. Fuck, what was I saying? I just missed it. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, so there's a way to say something to people that make it more attractive for them to want to give to you, and I'm in sales. And I'm marketing and like copywriting and like, you know, I'm not a grammatical genius, not even close. I spelled things wrong all the fucking time.
Really?
Something wrong. But like there's a way to speak to people to get them to engage. It's called call to actions. Okay. And that's like, you know, like those fucking infomercials, like call right now and get your knife set for $12.99. But wait, there's more. And like the upsell and the upsell. Right? But like those are call to actions, and your call to action could be something like, hey, you know, like, here's a new song, whatever it's about. It's like, you ever talk to them, ask them, have you ever felt like, you know, you're alone and nobody else is they're like on the same page as you, or like, this is what this song's about. I hope you guys really enjoy it, and just assume they're going to listen to it. And that's it. And don't ask them don't check it out. Go listen. Nobody wants to do that. And guys, that is like taught. I didn't make that up. And that you'll find that through
truth.
So yeah, there's a lot of things we're doing that we're applying, which is applicable for bands in everything. You can have a fucking tire business, you can have a fucking marijuana business, you can have any kind of business, but the marketing part is how do you get people to start buying stuff or buying into you? Just be yourself and document it. And take those pits and be consistent every day. Document something. You know, if you could do content, if you could do releasing 3 things, and I'm not saying you have to say it's all about the band. Like, what is the band like? You know, like ask them a question that relates to a fan. Like, yo, you don't have to feel suicidal, and I hope this song makes your day better. There you go. It's like that's a post right there. So it's like,
look on the bright side of life,
and I'm happy. And then there was that. What's that? Lovely day. Lovely day.
That's a good one.
I love that
Is
song.
That Bill Withers? Bill Withers, I think something like that. Anyway,
so go your turn now.
Yeah, my turn. Talked for goddamn 40 minutes, boy. Jeez. Well,
you know. Yeah.
No, I mean it's all relative to everything, but this is a little bit more business oriented. Funny enough, I work in the business world. So Vivendi, the parent company of Universal Music Group, has confirmed that plans to take UMG public in 2022. And the long expected news was announced in part of Vivendi's third quarter earnings report released Tuesday. So this is interesting. Universal Music Group is owned by Vivendi, which I believe owns everything under the Universal. They might not Universal Music Group, I think, might not be owned by Universal Studios anymore, but I think they're related in some way.
Indeed.
From reading this, maybe Vivendi owns Universal. I think, I don't know. Anyway, I should look that one up. But anyway, what's interesting about this is that if you know about streaming and you know about how streaming works and how licensing works, there isn't licensing. There isn't like one blanket license for streaming all over the world.
Mm-hmm. How do you mean?
So, case in point, when I was in South Africa back in 2005 doing a record,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't access my Apple iTunes store.
Gotcha.
Because the government of South Africa didn't allow them to license the technology in that country.
Oh, by the way, just before you start,
Yeah.
Universal City Studios Production LLLP is the parent company. It says.
Okay, great. So then it is. So Vivendi is part of the deal. Blah blah blah. So they must own all of it. But they have offered up a 3.3 billion stake in the company to a company in China called Tencent. If you know anything about Tencent, they're basically the Amazon, for lack of a better, no, not Amazon, because it's more like Alibaba. They're more of like the Google of China. So they have social media networks, they have blockchain technology like Venmo, they have video games, they have music. They're basically like the Spotify of China.
Gotcha.
So what this deal does,
worldwide. I thought that shit was worldwide. Everything.
It is and it isn't.
Okay.
It is and it isn't. China's a weird place, dude. Like when and not to get off topic, but like
it's not
my company, when they wanted to open in China,
yeah,
like every time they wanted to have like a recruiting meeting or like a meeting just to talk to associates,
right,
they literally had to tell the government every person that was in that room and report who was there. That's communism for you.
Okay.
And it couldn't be a meeting more than 10 people. Otherwise, it was considered a riot. Fucked up shit, dude. Anyway, my point being is that Universal hasn't had a way into China with their music. And what happens with this deal, basically, with Tencent owning a 10% stake, and they're probably going to buy another 10% stake, so they'll own 20% of UMG total worldwide, is that they'll be, see, China doesn't like us putting companies in China.
Yeah, they like putting,
but they love putting companies. They love buying our companies.
Yeah, right.
Trump is right. I'm sorry, but you know that's the only thing Trump is probably right.
Business, he's business. You know?
Yeah, he's business. So, but the thing is that they're going to buy 20% more than likely from this article of Universal, and Universal UMG is going to go public. This goes back. So they're going to, it's the initial public offering. They're going to do an IPO, so you could buy stock in UMG, which is basically a $33 billion company with a B, that you can buy actual stocks in, and it will be sometime next year that offering will come to market.
And how do they justify the value of the shares?
It's the valuation of the company. So it's, I guess they'll get like an investment bank to basically say, right, do this is what your valuation is.
Right.
It's at an evaluation of 33 billion right now.
So what do you the shares will be at?
Who knows? They'll see what the initial offering price is, you know, at the time of the announcement of when the IPO will go to market.
Got you. We got to have an episode on like your like research on what is good for musicians to like, what kind of investments.
I can't give that advice, dude.
No,
that's illegal. In my realm, that's illegal, dude. I could tell you, like, is
there a way to like get in front of
people had questions for me, go the Music Combine and send us the questions, but I can't publicly disclose that stuff.
Yeah, but no, like if you could just talk about not the products, but just talk about like the companies that you think are good.
Yeah, I still can't do that. That's me giving advice.
Are we doing that right now?
No, we're not.
Aren't we talking about a company that they can invest in essentially?
They can invest. You could buy it. I'm not telling you to buy it, though.
No, that's the thing. We're not telling you to buy anything. I'm just
I'm not
saying.
telling you to buy it. I'm just saying that this is coming to market in January. I'm not telling you it's a good deal.
Right.
I'm not telling. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it is coming to market. And the thing is, this kind of switches back to our article from last week that we talked about with Universal Music Group buying into hotel and properties. And this is more than likely why they're doing it. Why UMG is going public is they need capital to fund. And whenever you go public or you sell stock in a company, you are raising money to invest in other entities inside the company because you don't have it on your own.
Right. But you need a pool of investors.
So you have a pool of investors. The stock price will be a certain amount of money. You take the money and invest it into other things in the company, essentially.
Right. Gotcha.
So
infrastructure of a company going public.
Exactly. So, if you wanted ownership, I guess you could buy it, but I'm not telling you to buy anything in Universal. But this is definitely happening, and not whether it's bad or good or indifferent. I don't think it's great that Tencent is going to have to. Yeah, I don't think it's great that Tencent, and just in my opinion, that Tencent has a 20% stake in it. Now it's great for Universal because the thing is that they now have a sure shot of putting their music in one of the largest populated countries in the world.
Yeah.
And the consumership that they're going to gain from that is immense.
So they still own everything. They're just licensing.
They still own everything, but they're just licensing it out to Tencent. It seems like that. Or Tencent's basically, because they have ownership in the company, they have the rights to actually bring it to China. No one else will.
Okay.
It doesn't matter anyway because Tencent's basically the Spotify of China.
Okay. There you go. Okay.
Like I've heard on business shows about Tencent. This is the one thing they had a woman who was a Chinese financial reporter on Make Me Smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about Tencent's evaluation. Like it's a large fucking. It's huge.
Is it like
company.
the number 10 and then cent? Is that how the company's called?
10 cent.
Right.
No, it's just TENCENT. 10 cent.
There you go. 10 cent. Okay.
Like 50 cent.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Was it like 50 cent?
Like 50 cent, 10 cent.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're basically they're doing a favor for Universal where they're bringing it into the country for them in an easy way that Universal wouldn't have to necessarily probably go through the rigmarole of managing it. Because the problem with doing business in China is this one thing.
What's that?
They steal from you all the time.
Well, they do that with everything.
Intellectual property is very spurious as far as, and you need a company that actually is kind of reputable. And the one thing about Tencent is I can say this. The woman who started it she's on her shit. She's been on David Rubenstein's show and like very smart, Harvard educated, like smart.
There you go. All right. That's a pretty cool
little bit there. So it's something to think about. All right. So let's talk about this week and what we got on the combine.
Wrote a song about it.
One here. This is a great week for the combine.
Yeah. This week's episode.
This Friday,
crazy.
We have the one, the only Tom Maxwell from Hell Yeah on the show. And I was thinking about it today when I was driving back from surfing. The one thing I didn't thank Tom for, I'm going to write him a little note tomorrow, is this.
Write him a note.
How vulnerable he was. I did write him a thank you note, but I want to just thank him again. How vulnerable he was with us on our show.
Yeah.
The things he talked about and stuff. And, you guys are going to have to see it for yourself. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I was really just the humbleness and just how great a guy he is. I feel like this interview is really has been one of our crowning jewels in our show's history so far. And we'll have more of them. But the thing is like, we just really want to thank Tom again for being on the show. We want to thank P King for helping us out and Buka Roth and everyone else who helped us put this together.
Yep.
So the other thing too is that go to rockedbeverage.com.
It's rock
which
the letter
it's not gonna like, but
beverage.com. No, otherwise everybody's gonna put ROC.
I know.
Got rocked.
Right.
Like
Right.
you got
Right.
rocked by
Go to
nobody.
Rock Beverage now. Pre-order the bag of the Tom Maxwell blend. It's an
You
Italian.
interrupted my commercial. I was awesome. Like you got rocked by not putting in rockdbeverage.com, because if you don't put in rock in the letter D beverage.com, you will not go to rockdbeverage.com. You won't see Rock Coffee. So it's rockdbeverage.com. And then Tom Maxwell's has
Commercials are only 30 seconds, right?
I wonder how many seconds that was. So it wasn't a commercial, it was more like a thing.
Oh boy.
Like,
So anyway, he's on the show this Friday. It was an amazing interview. We're super proud of it. And there's just some really great tidbits. Check out our TikTok this week. There's definitely going to be some of those tidbits on there before the show. The kind of wets your palate for a healthy meal on Friday.
It will be labeled tidbits.
Tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got for me, man?
Well,
we spent an hour on this episode.
I think we covered a lot today. I mean, I'm going to keep covering it every week and just kind of go over my experience with learning more and helping you guys, adding value. So any emails I see we're starting to get people on our mailing list, which is cool.
Are we?
Yeah. So get on it and
support your public station during this membership drive.
Yeah. Well, we're going to come up with some awesome memberships.
Anyway. Yeah, and check it out. We're going to start streaming every one of these episodes live too. We just finally figured that out. Like, I would consider myself technically savvy, but
it's been
at the beginning of the stream, as everyone knows, we just freaking anyway, guys, have an amazing week and stay safe and sane. And we will see you next Sunday here on the Combine.
Thanks.
Hey, you know what I didn't do?
What?
Record it.
You didn't record it?
Mm-mm.
Motherfucker.
We got to do it again.
All right.
Because I hit YouTube and you distracted me and we didn't get to it.
Oh, you're blaming me now?
I am, because I was going, oh, let's do this. And then you started up. Like, all right, let's do it.
Shut up.
We didn't record it. Oh, well, here we go. Well, that was a great practice for an hour.
All right. Well, I'm going to be a little more streamlined.
All right, cool. That's fine. Let's get it within a half hour. Let's just get it within a half hour. You got to pee or anything?
No, I'm good. Let's do it.
All right, cool. Connecting the server, recording. Yay!
Because I didn't see the thing on, and I should have saw that.
Oh, anyway. It's all good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to the Music Combine for the week of 10/25/2020. Number deuce. How you doing this week, Greg?
Great. You know,
awesome.
I think you should probably take us live off the live now, because we've already been live.
True. We should